Hey guys, in this episode, I'll be sharing 3 locations in Brisbane that you do not want to be buying in, that most of you attempted to buy in. It looks appealing, it looks like everything is going very well in terms of the property market, but these 3 locations in Brisbane, you just want to be staying well clear of. I'll be going through the reasons. You don't want to miss this one. So my name's PK and I help build people passive income by using data without dropping $15,000 on a buyer's agent every single time. All right, so let's get into it. I just wanted to start by actually saying I was listening to a podcast the other day and it was sharing how 85% of people's life-changing moments, your most transformative moments in your life, 85% of those moments happen before the age of 35. What I took out of that was most of your formative adult life will be formed by moments that happen before you're 35. So if you're a property investor and you're under 35, I know about 40% of my audience is, the rest of you are over. The message really here is if you're under that age, you have the time to do something about your financial independence, your financial freedom, what I call financial happiness right now. And if you're over 35, it's never too late, but don't delay it. Don't drag it on. The longer you delay it, the more chances are reduced of your financial happiness, as I call it, in the future. But let's go on. So in the last year, in 2020 calendar year, they did a survey. The ABS actually did a survey. And what they found was the percentage of renters across Australia went down from, I think it was like 33% down to 28%. That was phenomenal because normally it increases every year. And they also found that the percentage of owner-occupiers with a mortgage went up. I can't remember, it was like something like from 28% up to 35%, something like that. And the reason this is happening, they posited, the import of that or the purport of this is that the HomeBuilder scheme that the Australian government rolled out in 2020 alongside all the financial benefits, stamp duty concessions, first homeowner grants, everything that was rolled out, free money effectively. What it meant was that all these people living at home with their parents, working people, young professionals that were living with their parents that couldn't before afford to buy their own home, now they bought their own home, right? And then what was happening is when I was talking to builders, when I'm talking to developers, actually we did a survey as well, many of these first homeowners are asking their developers, their builders, how long do I need to stay here before I can, put this property to rent? What do you think the rental market will be like in 6 months or 12 months or 18 months after we finish completion of this build? In other words, more than half of the people that utilize the home builder scheme and all these other incentives that the government was dishing out to make home ownership much more easier in order to stimulate the economy, more than half of them, if you listen to this survey, if you hear anecdotal evidence from builders and developers like I have, more than half of them actually intend to put that first home out to rent and move back either with their parents, having that as an investment property, or moving back closer to the CBD where they can, rent in an apartment or a townhouse or a house and be closer to the action. These are young people between the age of typically 25 to about 35, right? Maybe up to 40. Those are really the people who made the most of the home builder grant. Why am I telling you all this? The reason I'm telling you all this is all the property boom that is happening in these more affordable areas where there's all these houses that were built because of the homeowner grant, because of the home builder subsidies. Many of these properties, in fact, I guesstimate, is a bit more scientific than that, but I estimate more than half of them will become investment properties. What that means is that rents won't go up, vacancies will shoot up, and prices, even though right now, because the rising tide lifts all ships, prices are rising right now, prices will stabilize or correct. So then you'll have this property that will be maybe empty, that might be hard to get a tenant for, rents won't rise, and prices may shallow out, taper out, or even go backwards. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to blow up my screen, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to take you through exactly the areas that you don't want to be buying, because these are the areas that a lot of these first homeowners are buying with the intention, more than half of them, remember, with the intention of them moving back into the city, CBD, and renting them out, okay? Leaving an oversupply of properties. Okay, so let's go into it. So this is Brisbane, as you can see. So for some context, I hope the screen share really brings you value, guys. So the first area that I'm going to target is North Brisbane. So what you have is you've got Brisbane City Council kind of ending around here, and then you've got Moreton Bay City Council kind of prevalent here, up to Morayfield, up north. So effectively anything north of, let's say, Callinga, or even, you know, maybe even if I draw a line with my arrow, with my cursor, if I go around Mango Hill, Griffin, you know, maybe places like North Lakes, Decabin, parts of Deception Bay, certainly Burpengary, Narangba, all the way up to Caboolture. Here are literally thousands of new builds, all funded by new owner-occupiers, first home buyers, that perhaps, according to my research, according to the ABS, to some extent, according to anecdotal evidence from literally dozens and dozens and dozens of developers, Stocklands and builders and the like, these guys, in a year, when they fulfill their obligation to the government of staying in that house for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, will then move back into better areas in Brisbane where young people sub 35 years of age actually want to live, which is basically everywhere south of Castledine. I mean, even Castledine's a little bit far out. Really young people want to live, you know, Kedron and closer if they're on the north side. So if you're thinking about, or if your property investment company, or if your buyer's agent is telling you to buy in places like North Lakes, like Decabin, Mango Hill, Griffin, you know, I'm sure they're going to tell you about a house and land package or something like that, all the way up to Caboolture, Narangba, Morayfield. Just don't do it. Huge risk. Big risk of high tenant turnover, high vacancy, rents won't rise, and property prices, even though right now it seems that, hey, it's not doing so bad, it will actually be bad. Okay, the second area that is guilty as charged for this phenomenon is basically everything in my screen right now. So all the way down from Pimpama, very guilty of this, literally thousands, I'm not making this up, this is not exaggeration, thousands of new tiny 300 square 400 square meter houses, you know, cookie cutter, like they're going to fall apart in 30 years, like really low quality build, you know, although it's rising at the moment, places like Omeo and Coomera and Pimpama. Guys, this is where the vacancy, it's already high, vacancy will rise even higher, all the way here up to Beenleigh, you know, you're entering into the Logan City Council, places like Logan Reserve, and where's our friend Browns Plains, Yatla, around Park Ridge, that's notorious for these investment companies, you know, duplexes and house and land packages and all that kind of thing. Browns Plains has a lot of land. So anywhere kind of south of Slacks Creek, you need to be very, very careful because of this phenomenon. You can see here, if I go to terrain view, right, you can see just how much land there is. And I don't know when the satellite view is updated, but a lot of this green space is being pushed into residential development because of that home builder scheme. So there's going to be a lot of hurt in this area. You might not see it for a year, you might not see it for 2 years, rising tide lifts all ships, but very high risk areas to buy, right? Crestmead, Marsden, you know, south of Shayla Park. I mean, these areas aren't great anyway, like Woodbridge and Kingston, if I zoom in a little bit. Logan Central, you should never be buying properties there anyway. But yeah, this really, Browns Plains all the way out to Heathwood and south of Heathwood. Really bad. And then if we go to the third area that I want to talk about, which is really what's on screen now, which is all the way from almost, let's get this right for you guys, all the way between Brisbane and Ipswich. So Ipswich is over here, you can see that, Ipswich City Council. So if you're looking to buy in this kind of Ipswich area or the Springfield Lakes area, or this Goodna area, or places like Bellbird Park, like Ripley, these are really the epicenters of property investment companies scamming you. Yes, great story. Ipswich is going to become like a Parramatta. It's going to become like a Geelong in the Victorian context. Ipswich is going, there's, train station, there's new shopping mall, hospitals, population growing, all that kind of thing, right? But really, if I once again go to terrain view, there is so much land. Like, let's see where Ripley is. I just want to hone in down to scamming central, right? Ripley, you can see that here. This is a little bit old. All this area, you can see these, housing land packages being developed, the streets being made and all this. This is a bit old, actually. All this area is going to be developed. So when you have thousands and thousands and thousands of new houses going in, not just here, but around White Rock and here around Red Bank, and not only are these not good areas from a socioeconomic perspective, but there's just so much building going on here. All these new first home buyers that are making use of first home grants, subsidies, stamp duty concession, home builder scheme, many of them, more than 50% likely, are not going to stick around. They're going to make an investment property, and this is not really a great area to live, right? If you want to be close to the action, there's nothing really that goes on here unless you have 3 kids and acreage and you like to drive your tractor around. I'm exaggerating a little bit, no offense to anyone who lives there, great people, but really young people don't want to live there. They want to live closer in. So if it's not on the north side, they want to live around Indooroopilly, around Oxley, around Maruka, Mount Gravatt, Mansfield, Carindale. These are the areas, St. Lucia, that's where young people want to live. Sub 30 years old, sub 40 years old. They're building a career for themselves. They're going places. They're only utilizing the home builder scheme to get their foot into the property ladder. Then all these areas around here are going to go up for becoming investment properties. There'll be a glut of supply. Prices will likely not go up anymore, might even come down, vacancy high, rents won't rise, negative gearing, all that shebang, right? And all of a sudden that property investment company promising you financial freedom and depreciation benefits all goes down the drain. So I just wanted to really labor on the subject. I don't want to be negative in this video. I'm just going to telling you the truth that other people aren't telling you, okay? So if you're looking at Brisbane, I'll stop sharing my screen now. If you're looking at Brisbane and you're thinking of going far north, you're going far west or far south, just don't do it. Am I saying that you need to only buy blue chip property for whatever that means in a close to the CBD? Absolutely not. This is just a Brisbane phenomenon. If you're buying in places like Adelaide, this phenomenon is different. Of course, you'd want to avoid areas like Elizabeth up north in Adelaide, but it's a different phenomenon. You can go all the way down, all the way to Christie's Beach and Aldinga Beach, really far away from the CBD, and there's still really good areas in Adelaide. Same with Perth, same with other places. So don't get me confused. I'm not saying that you should buy $1 million properties. You can still buy $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 properties, just not in these areas of Brisbane. Guys, hopefully that's useful. I always want to encourage you, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up button on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube. That way, this kind of just real truths, I'm not making anything up. It's all based on data. This is reality. You'll see it pan out. No one is sharing this kind of information, so help spread it, help make it go viral. And guys, if you actually want to invest in property, if you're finding that you're failing, try do it yourself. If you're finding that you're failing, you don't need a buyer's agent. I'll leave a link below to the Property Investment Accelerator. Well, there's a thick pipeline of clients, as always, coming in, so don't book a call unless you're ready to go. It's not a cheap call, so all the details are below. My name's PK. See you later.